Do appreciate it. We're going to go ahead today and talk a little bit about ComplyAuto and a couple of our products and talk about how they fit directly into your workflow. So we're going to be going through deal jacket review and advertising review, and we're also going to be able to answer some questions if we have some time today. So who is ComplyAuto? Just want to recap for context. I know some of you folks know who we are. We're the #1 recommended compliance platform in automotive, and we're in over 10,000 rooftops nationwide, while we're endorsed across 44 states and counting. We are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, and we have 10 full-time automotive compliance attorneys on staff, and about 25% of our employees have worked in or directly supported automotive retail. So what I'm about to show you today with all of our products from ComplyAuto, they are built specifically for dealerships by people who understand how your dealerships operate. So let's go ahead and get started. Talk a little bit about what we offer. Now, just so everyone knows, there are many solutions that we offer in today's marketplace. Many of you may be using safety or privacy or some others currently now, but our privacy is our data privacy compliance platform. We have safety, which is OSHA compliance. We have our Guardian platform, which we'll get into a little bit more today, which is marketing compliance, and that uses AI to check whether regulatory required disclosures, rules, and standards are all being met before content were to go live. We also have our Deal Check AI. We're going to get a little bit into that today as well. Deal level compliance, ensuring all documents, steps, and checks are completed so nothing is missed before a deal is finalized. We also have ComplyCrypt. That's our end-to-end encryption tool. We have Workforce for training and for keeping track of your employees. So we really have it all. Everything that you are going to need for your dealership, we supply here at ComplyAuto as part of our suite. Now, let's talk about changing the system today from manual deal jacket reviews to an automated process. I want to put some things out there for thought and feedback. If we're thinking about how many deals per month get kicked because something small was missed, a missing signature, a stip buried in a bank approval, a VIN mismatch between documents, a menu that didn't align with the contract. And then how often following that does the business office have to chase F&I for one more document or get a customer called back after delivery because something wasn't signed? We're finding that none of it feels catastrophic for the deal runners nationwide, but what it actually creates, and the reason we're all here today, is cash sitting in transit, funding delays, lower CSI, recurring audit findings, quiet margin leakage that ends up not being so quiet. Even if it is, say, 5 deals a month that are delayed because of preventable documentation issues, that's 5 deals where funding is slower than it should be. 5 deals tying up capital. 5 opportunities where the customer experience gets interrupted. And another reality that we've realized in most dealerships across the country right now is when the salesperson moves into that F&I role, there's still no formal master level compliance training program. They're learning as they're going. They're relying on memory. They're relying on what a previous manager may have told them. And when it gets busy, mistakes happen. So this is the exact reason we have our deal check system. The issue isn't knowledge, it's more so consistency. And compliance outside of what we offer with deal check depends completely on memory, manual review, and a heck ton of pressure. And when it gets busy, things slip. That's not a people problem, it's a systems problem. Deal check AI acts like a virtual compliance officer looking at every deal before it leaves the F&I office. So the system itself, it's a deal audit system that strengthens your entire review process. Before it leaves the store, you upload a deal jacket and you click run check. Most stores we see manually verifying around 40 to 50 items in a deal jacket, while you see deal check AI in about 30 to 60 seconds, scanning hundreds of verification points. Now I'm going to go a little bit deeper into these in a moment, but it's looking across the entire deal for signatures, VIN consistency, F&I product pricing alignment, your state required forms, lender's tips, OFAC for all parties involved. Everything that needs to be checked that would kick a deal back is looked for. You're able to fix it before submission. Claim paper goes out the door, no surprises from lenders, and no preventable callbacks. That is the goal here, to make things as seamless and easy for you. And what it's doing is extremely complex, but at the same time, we've made it really simple for you. So here's how it works in real life. You're creating a deal. You're uploading your deal jacket documents. You're clicking run check. You fix what's flagged. The system will show you exactly what's wrong and where it is. You're not flipping through 80-page PDFs. You're not relying on memory. You're not hoping that something wasn't missed. And once it's clean, you generate a compliance certificate with a to submit the deal with confidence. And we'll take a look a little bit more into this live in a moment. Talk a little bit more about the details of what it's checking for and how that works. Now, when you're doing a manual check, You're going ahead currently and you're checking, I don't know, maybe 30, 50 items or something like that. As I mentioned, with Deal Check AI, you're getting automated verification across all the areas that are causing problems. There's a lot listed here because we check it all, but this isn't even everything. And I'm going to give you guys homework assignments. So after this call, you can work with your sales and F&I teams to make sure they are or aren't doing some of these things. Many of these checks are checking multiple items, but also this is just a few of our checks. We have many more than are listed here. Everything from identity and insurance validation to regulatory disclosures, address consistency, even something as small as a missing apartment number in one document versus the others, we're taking a look at. Your bank approvals and stipulations. So if a bank or lender says that POI or POR is required, the system reads that, flags it immediately, so you can get those documents before the customer leaves the desk instead of chasing them later. Then address consistency across all documents. We're looking for your state required title forms, your core deal paperwork alignment. Our solution does something also that hopefully you are all doing today and that you're actually looking for those accident reports for used vehicles. Our tool will go ahead and look for those, make sure that there's the report for see if there's a report for the previous accident and if there's initials next to it. So please, if you're not doing that, take care of that now. Take a look at that. We're also verifying your F&I menus. So if a product is accepted, it has to appear correctly in the agreement. And if it's declined, it shouldn't show up. We're also checking your pricing alignment against lender stips and caps. And red flags is a huge check we're doing. The quiz needs to be completed. We check for that. So please make sure you're doing that now. If you're not, taking a look at that, making sure that that's getting done. We check for things that have to be included, obviously, but we're also looking for things that cannot be included, right? You cannot have copies of credit cards stored in deal jackets. You cannot have copies of military IDs. We flag that. We also check for OFAC on all parties of the deal. It's required and critical. We've talked to many dealer groups that say, hey, we don't need OFAC, but OFAC always needs to be checked on all parties related to the deal. Are you guys doing that today? And if not, maybe that's something we start doing because it is required. All of these items that I've mentioned to you get deals kicked in under a minute. So homework for you. Take a look. Make sure we're not having copies of credit cards and the deal jackets. Make sure we're having no copies of military IDs, even if the manufacturer offers a military rebate. Make sure that you're checking OFAC on all parties in the deal. And check your menu alignment. Does the payment on the menu match the payment on the contract? Again, at the end of the day, guys, this isn't replacing your team's experience. It's just giving the dealership a safety net so deals don't get kicked days later over something small. That's the goal. Now, let's dive into advertising. I know we only have a few minutes left here. Let's talk about advertising and some things that we are doing in that regard. Obviously, our world got turned upside down on March 13th when the 97 letters were sent out by the FTC. We all know what happened there. We know very well what's going on. And now we even know exactly who the dealers were because they were called out, which is even more crazy. So for some of you folks that may not be fully aware, just to give a refresher, those 97 went out, the 97 letters went out to dealership groups, and the FTC said that they will be monitoring not only them, but you, all dealerships, not just the 97. Mandatory fees are now required to show customers. It's very important. They've made it very clear. There is no gray area. The major one is doc fee entitlement. Okay, so this was just the start. This is an ongoing problem for all of us. The primary takeaway here from everything that's gone on is that the advertised price needs to be an all-in price. That is key. There are 6 major items that were called out by the FTC. Number 1 being advertising a price that does not reflect all-in required fees. So if the money goes to yourself, the money goes to you as the dealer, it has to be in the price. The second one that we see here is advertising a price that reflects rebates or discounts not available to all consumers or customers. So if not all customers are eligible, remove it from the subtraction of the price. Do not net it out of your price. Now, number 3 is advertising a price that fails to account for an additional required down payment. So this one's really big. So for example, a price says that in order to get this, you need to put $5,000 down, or there's a hidden additional down payment. If it does require this, it has to be clearly stated in the ad. This needs to be bold and prominent. The next thing we're looking at is conditioning the advertised price on consumer using dealer financing. So this one's key. Dealer financing is really dealer arranged financing. So if you have an advertised price that says you have to finance through a certain lender, you cannot have that as your main prominent price. You cannot have an advertised price as the prominent price, have this as a condition. That is key. You can't have 2 prices, but the most prominent price has to be the price that everyone qualifies for, everyone and anyone. The next thing that we're seeing here is requiring consumers to purchase additional items not reflected in the advertised price. So very simple, self-explanatory. You cannot falsely advertise prices to have add-on items there. And last but not least, advertising unavailable or non-existent vehicles. So even if the OEM, your OEM is posting the ad on your site, you cannot let them. You can't let them put this ad up for a car that you don't have and you won't have and doesn't exist. The issue is that the OEMs don't have the liability you do. The FTC, if they come knocking, they'll be knocking on your door, not their door. So you need to tell your OEMs that they cannot be doing this. What do we do now? That's kind of the big next question. Well, we're here to help you with that. So the state AGs and the federal government are working directly together on this. They're working in tandem on the advertised price, no payment stacking, selling products you shouldn't be. Now, we're taking a look here. Dealers, you should be prepared for more enforcement. This is just going to continue at the federal and state levels, advertising, as well as your F&I practices. Given the increased scrutiny of everything going on right now, you really should maintain vigilant oversight of your pricing advertising, ensuring that all your fees and products are clearly disclosed and not hidden in the fine print. Train your staff. Avoid payment packing. Properly explain product features, costs, and optional nature to the customers. Make sure that they're getting these points across and understand them. And implement robust compliance tools and systems to monitor and enforce best practices. We have tons of these tools for you, as I mentioned earlier in the call. In any regard, all the different corners of your dealership, we have something for it there. And then last but not least, ensure you're documenting what's required under your state law, and then auditing your deal jackets to ensure the compliance there. It's super important. Make sure you train your staff. Make sure they're on top of these things. But at the end of the day, we do have a solution for it. We have something called Guardian, which solves this in the advertising world. So with Guardian, there's tons of exposure, right? And it's all mostly on your website, and Guardian helps protect you from that. There's three main tools within Guardian. Okay, so first we have the web scanner. The web scanner automatically crawls your websites and VDPs on a scheduled basis, typically monthly or weekly. And this matters obviously because no human is manually able to review hundreds or thousands of VDPs consistently every month and making sure that there's no errors. It's just not human. So the reality is things break constantly, whether it's a website provider updating a template or a pricing logic change or a disclaimer disappearing or even required language vanishing after a website update behind the scenes. Things happen. And because we see a lot of folks, you'll see it online, you assume it's compliant, the issue kind of just sits online. That's where exposure starts. So Guardian scans all of your VDPs automatically against FTC guidance, state advertising laws, truth in lending, lease disclosure requirements, UDAP standards, and state specifics. So if anything creates risk, Guardian will flag it immediately so your team knows about the issue before a regulator, attorney, or a customer ever does. And that's the whole goal here. You are ahead of the game. The power here is the consistency and scale. Guardian is looking at the first VDP, the same exact efficiency as it is looking at number 200. So no human wants to manually spot check hundreds of VDPs every month, or in reality, are they able to? And that's where this tool comes in within Guardian. Second tool we have within Guardian is our ad analyzer. Now this is great because you're able to run an ad through before putting it live and do the same checks. Honestly, this is where we see a lot of dealers get kind of a big eye opener on how exposed they are. The reality is, obviously, things are moving quick. OEMs are pushing ads. Marketing is moving fast. Everybody's assuming things are just in disclaimers are probably correct. But one missing trigger term, one improperly displaced payment disclosure suddenly creates a huge public-facing exposure. So with the analyzer, you can upload social media ads, website banners, radio scripts, print ads, basically anything creative besides video. And it's going to scan it against the FTC guidance, truth in lending, Reg Z, Reg M, UDAP, and your state specifics the same way. So instead of waiting for days for a legal review, you typically are getting findings in about a minute. And if it identifies any issues, it's going to highlight exactly what the issue is, where it is, explain the issue in plain English, and provide legal citation behind it and a fix for them. So really useful for OEM ads, really useful for checking any ad, giving you another layer of safety compliance to check on things before you're putting things out for the public and possibly getting yourself into an exposure situation. Now, the third piece of Guardian is our ad generator. This helps create federal and state compliant disclaimers based on the offer language that you put in the structure of the deal. Solves a very common problem. We see a lot of dealerships were using previous offers, copying, pasting an old disclaimer, but that's where mistakes start happening. So with Guardian, you build offers from scratch, or you can use a saved template. You can import a deal structure from a spreadsheet or desking tool. And as you build the ad, it's going to automatically identify which disclosures are legally required for that type of deal in your state. And it's not going to let you get to the end. If anything is mandatory is missing, the system will stop you and say, hey, we need that to create the disclaimer. So instead of waiting or relying on a manual review or hoping disclosures are correct, Guardian standardizes the process. And once it's generated, it's easy to share with the team. So this is a huge tool within Guardian. Now, the top issues that we're seeing across the board right now when we're looking at vehicle display pages, we're seeing by far the biggest issue being outdated legacy disclaimers. Like I could say probably 8 out of 9 meetings that I'm having with Guardian with folks, and we're doing demonstrations and reviewing a VDP. We're taking a look and we're finding these old disclaimers at the bottom of the page. Take a look for those, folks. See what's going on there. Remove those. If you have an old disclaimer that's a holdover, get rid of them. Look for the confirm availability button. That's a big one. You're not allowed to have that anymore. If the vehicle's on the lot, it shouldn't need to be confirmed available. If it's not there yet, then they don't want it on the site, basically. So look for those CTA buttons or the confirm availability or the check availability buttons. Got to get rid of those. Improperly deducting limited rebates from the advertised price. Make sure you're looking at that. Missing expiration dates and digital retailing platform with outdated disclaimers is super, super important that we're seeing quite a bit. Now, when we're taking a look at banner ads and we're reviewing those, these are the top issues there. We're seeing see dealer for details. Can't be doing that. You have to have everything up front now. No mention of security deposit or lease ads. We're also seeing the listing of down payment instead of the total due at signing. And last but not least, using OEM ad as it is. And there's no attempt to correct or augment the disclaimer to fit their actual state requirements. And that's something we see in that I mentioned earlier. The OEMs aren't necessarily concerned with your state requirements, nor does it fall on them once it's on their site. So very important that you are the ones that are aware of your state regulations, or in this case, we have Guardian that is aware of them, and we'll be able to pull this out for you and do that so you don't have to be concerned and worry yourselves with that. Important for you to know about it, but not important necessarily if you have our tool for you to catch every single one, because this will catch it for you. Next steps for all of us here today. I first of all really appreciate all your time. There's a couple of things we can do. So contact ComplyAuto, see how Guardian can help you. Reach out. Guardian utilizes AI and ensures that all your ads are scanned and reviewed for compliance with federal law, against all state laws as well. It's a tool, it's a tool, one of its kind, most powerful defense that you can have against advertising claims. Please go ahead and conduct a comprehensive audit of all your current advertising. Confirm and advertised pricing reflect all the mandatory fees and charges. Obviously, Guardian will be able to help you and do this. And then please review any price promotions, rebates, discount programs. Ensure that only a part of the advertised price is available to consumers. Break it out and explain that. For limited rebates, all eligibility conditions are clearly and conspicuously disclosed. Make sure that you have that disclosed. Review add-on practices. And finally, last but not least, train your finance and staff on compliant pricing and disclosure practices. I really appreciated your time today, and I hope we can further this discussion. Please reach out to me or take a picture and scan the QR code. My email is here, maurice.knockin@complyauto.com, or you could schedule a demo using the QR code. Would love to talk further. We can run one of your vehicle display pages and banner ads. We can take a look at the results there, and I'll show you the tool. We could take a look at Deal Check. I'll show you how to run a deal live. Thank you again so much. Really appreciated the time. This is Maurice from ComplyAuto, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you.